Hello and welcome to Elena Meets the Author. This podcast explores how authors create a world that we can escape into. Join me as we demystify the magic that keeps us turning the page. Today, I'm speaking to Annabel Monaghan, whose books I love. I think I'm a romantic hopeless because I got a bit emotional at the end this morning on my second read of It's a Love Story, which is coming out May 27th. I don't know how she does it, how you do it. Your timing, wit, knack for creating lovable, flawed characters and slowly building sexy romance is just perfect. This particular story centers around a somewhat unhinged Jane Jackson, who was a child TV star and now, 20 years later or so, is still in Hollywood and trying to get a movie produced. Jane is not having much luck, and whenever Jane gets nervous, she hides in her closet or under her desk at work and eats candy. Enter Dan Finnegan, an arrogant cinematographer who almost immediately becomes Jane's nemesis when he trashes her latest film idea to her boss, Nathan. I should add that Dan is somewhat handsome, a cross between a fireman and a swimsuit model. I first interviewed Annabel about Nora Goes Off script a few years ago and have not stopped adoring her comedic love stories ever since. I feel about Annabel's writing a bit the way I feel about my pug, Josephine, who I remind daily that she's not allowed to die, ever, and Annabel is not allowed to stop writing, ever. Annabel, welcome to the show.
Oh, my goodness. That is honestly the best thing I've ever heard. I don't think anyone's ever likened me to their dog before. And
it's a compliment.
I have a dog. I know what a compliment that is. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
My pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the listeners about It's a Love Story without giving the whole plot away, or do you want to just leave it where I left it?
That's what it's about. They're going to do a little bit of traveling, and the story itself is really about coming to terms with all the stories you've told yourself your entire life growing up, all the beliefs that we hold really tight about ourselves, and kind of taking a second to let some of them go so that we can move on with our lives.
Very good. I was just about to ask you if you could give us a theme, but you just did. So good job. I guess to start off, just to give readers an idea, because no one will have read this book, it's coming out at the end of the month. Can you please read the first 3 pages?
Yes. You know, it's funny. I got really nervous when I saw that you were going to ask me to do that. I haven't read this book since I turned it in October. So I just read it for the first time before we got on. And then I was like, wait, what is this book even about here? So chapter 1. Fake it till you make it is a philosophy that serves in literally every aspect of life. Slap a smile on your face and your brain will eventually think you're happy. That's not just me talking, it's science. Walk around in those Nikes until you feel like going for a run. Dress for the job you want. I was an actress for a big chunk of my adolescence, so I could say I'm an expert in harnessing the power of imagination to get yourself where you want to be. This morning, I'm also harnessing the power of my flat iron, a newly sharpened brow pencil, and a strawberry Pop-Tart. I need to show up for work looking like a winner. So I've been standing in front of my closet for 10 minutes, re-ironing my hair and hoping the right outfit will reveal itself to me. I have a meeting with my boss to talk about the next steps for my new project. If it's greenlit, True Story will be the first script I've brought to the studio that will actually be made into a movie. If it's made, it will make me. Today I need an outfit that whispers success really loudly. I don't miss much about being on TV, but on mornings like this, I do miss the costume department. I wish someone would tell me what scene I'll be walking through today and exactly how I should look. I sort through my work clothes, blouses and skirts in shades of blue and gray. They're freshly pressed and definitely make me seem competent, but make me look more like a flight attendant than an airline CEO. Next to them is my dating wardrobe, which I've chosen with more care than any costume department ever did. My first date dress is green and white pinstriped and hits right below the knees. It's a dress you can't argue with. It's dignified and says I'm feminine, but not trying too hard to be sexy. It says I'm a person you might consider kissing and then later introducing to your grandmother. When my future partner and I tell our kids about our first date, that's how I want him to describe me. kissable, and grandma-worthy. Think Reese Witherspoon in basically any movie. The rest of the dresses also each have a specific purpose. Second date, show a little more skin. Third date, invite a kiss. And the all-important fourth date, enter an actual relationship. I finish my Pop-Tart, wipe my hands on my pajamas, and pull out the fourth date dress. It is, in a word, sensational. It's red and silk, not entirely appropriate for August in Los Angeles, but it's a deal closer. The tags still dangle down the back because I haven't actually had a fourth date since I got serious about my Manifest a Solid Partner project last year. I bought it because I hoped it would bring new energy to the consistently disastrous fourth date. Sometimes it's the guy who blows it. He's rude to the waiter or admits to owning an accordion. Any mention of NASCAR and I'm out. More often than not, it's me. I get comfortable. I forget to be Reese Witherspoon, and he sees me for the B-teamer that I am. By the fourth date, I get impatient to just make it a thing already. I talk too much or too fast. A few times I've suggested plans way too far in the future, as in, my boss is getting married next spring. You should come. Oof. I hold up the red dress and look in the mirror. Yes, I think. This is the kind of energy I want to bring to my meeting this morning. Today, I'm going on a fourth date with my career. I love this thought so much that I take the dress off its hanger and rip off the tags. Showtime, I say to my reflection.
Thank you. Very good. Excellent.
That's a lot of work. I don't know how audiobook narrators do their job.
I know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So your inspiration for this book, I saw in your acknowledgments that you mentioned a book called I'm Glad My Mom Died. Can you tell us about that?
It's such a hard title to say, isn't it?
Yes.
Every time I say it, I almost wish I never brought it up because every time I say it, I feel a little sick. Yeah, I picked that book up 2 years ago and I read it straight through. And when I finished, I turned back to the first page and I read it again. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. It's by Jeanette McCurdy. She was a teen star. I'm sure everybody knows this. And I was so taken by the writing. I don't know that I've ever read writing quite that crisp and unusual. But I also really got in the mind of teen stars and all of these teens like Jeanette that I watched growing up. And I was thinking about, like, while I was watching them, they were going through puberty on TV. And when I think about that time in my life, it was all about like trying things on, like maybe I'm going to dress like Madonna now, or maybe I'm going to try to have this personality. And what was it like to grow up on TV where you're actually being dressed and given a script every day? Like, is there part of your life where you actually missed your personal development as a person because you were always told where to stand? And so that's where Jane Jackson came from. She's probably the most unhinged character, definitely the most unhinged character I've ever written. She is an adult. She's trying to make it in the movie business. She literally is so unself-aware, has no clue really of who she is. So that was my starting point. I just wanted to see what she would be like all grown up.
Was it easy to write the whole unhinged part? All her little...
Oddly, I'm embarrassed to say. It was so much easier for me than trying to write somebody who has their act together. I mean, just the thrill of having her rip open candy bars on the floor of her closet and shove them in her mouth. The actual release that I felt. She's a person who, she always knows what she's going to say in advance. And then if she gets really mad, she just lets loose and says something totally different. Writing that was like a relief to me.
Yeah. Because I guess I find I often have things in my head that I don't say.
It's my whole life.
Yeah, me
My
too.
whole life is being hinged. I am so hinged. Like one of these days.
Exactly. The film The Notebook with Reese Witherspoon comes up an awful lot. I love that
Reese
film.
Witherspoon is not in that movie.
No. Oh, you're
No.
right. No, it's that other woman.
It's oh my God, Allie
What's her?
is
Yeah.
the most beautiful woman that ever lived. What's her name?
Exactly. I know. And he's and the kiss
The kiss
on the
is
pier
unbelievable.
in the rain. Yeah. So exactly, Reese, out of here. I love that film. Dan, the cinematographer, loved that film. Jane professes to hate that film, but I don't believe her. Does she really hate The Notebook?
No, she does not. She does not. But as it sort of is revealed throughout the book, it's sort of a touch point for the moment in her life that she stopped believing in love. And I happen to be a notebook lover because I'm a normal human being. Everybody loves that movie. But there are things in that movie, like there are a lot of holes that you could poke. And it was really fun to play the devil's advocate and find those holes.
Yeah, you mentioned them. They're good.
Yes, very fun.
That was good. The one thing that they can agree on, Jane and Dan, is the script of a true story, the fictional script. I was just wondering, did you have an idea of that script in your head? The one they talk about all the time?
I always admire people who can write a book inside a book. It's like extra credit, AP exams. I don't know why people do that. I had a feeling for what the script was, and it changed throughout the writing of this book. By the time I was done, I sort of understood what kind of a love story that is. And in the back of my mind, I think it would be really fun to write that book.
Yeah.
Like someday actually write a book. It's called True Story, and it's whatever that book was going to be. But anyways, that's for a lifetime from now. But it's a story about a marriage that like fails and people who break up and come back together and break up and come back together. And they're always stronger for it. It's like a story about that enduring kind of love. Not the love where, the woman spills her purse and they lock eyes and then they're in love forever. It's not that kind of love. It's the love that like normal people have.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Hopefully.
Exactly. That he wants to have.
Yes.
With her. Clem, Jane's best friend and flatmate, is a full-time nurse and a part-time bartender, tending, as you write, to human frailty. She's such a great, wise counterbalance to her best friend, Jane. Was she as easy to create? She's just very witty, their text exchange, all their little conversations with just a few words.
No.
I loved Clem. She wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy. I don't know why that's always hard. Writing friendship does not come that easy to me. And I'm not totally sure why that is. I think it's because I have a lot of different kinds of friends. I have my very old friends where there's no BS. And then I have people who met me when I was an adult. And so maybe they think I have my act together. It's like kind of a different way of communicating. And I don't know how to tell them I don't have my act together. Talk to my high school friends, they know.
Right.
So it's tough to hit that thing that feels natural. It takes a lot of drafts for me to get there with female friendships.
Oh, you did it really well because she very much sees Jane. And I mean, there was one line, there were so many lines, but one where Jane is kissing she's always looking at Dan's mouth. And at one point she's like, I don't know what's on the other side of it. And Clem's like, a tongue. I don't know. I thought it wasn't clear to me that was hard for you. And then how many times did you have to rewrite this?
Do you want to know? I don't want to make anybody cry. This book was due. I probably turned it in 2 months late, and not because I was like at the beach looking at this sky. It was because I was rewriting this book. There was something, I'm going to be in conversation with my editor at an event in North Carolina on my book tour. I think we're going to really spill the tea because that poor woman, I don't know why she sticks around, but it wasn't quite right for a lot of iterations. Like the bulk of it was there, but it wasn't quite right. So I don't know, maybe I wrote 15 drafts of this book.
Wow. Well, you had a lot of people, a lot of Finnegans.
There were a lot of people, yeah, but they were always kind of in the same room. That wasn't as hard. I always think that a lot of people are tough when you're going to different places and engaging with different people who all have separate arcs.
Right.
That's overwhelming. Yeah, I don't know what it was about this story. There was something that I was feeling. This happens a lot. This actually
with
happens.
Your other books too.
Every book and more in this book. There was a feeling that I was having, and it was not on the paper.
Oh.
So, and that is, it's a very common thing with writers. It's like, well, the point I was trying to make, and you're not there to explain it to your readers. So if you didn't actually make it, The point never got made. And so sometimes it's like there's something that's in my head and it's maybe more in my subconscious.
Right.
It's not coming through in my fingers.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So,
Well, you definitely got it in the end.
thank you.
Definitely. Setting. I think each of your novels has come out just before the summer, and they make me yearn for summer like no other book. Where is this fictional seaside place based on? Because it's not quite the Hamptons.
No, it is a made up Long Island town. And if I don't remember, did you ever read Same Time Next Summer? That was my second book. I don't think we talked that time.
I did the third. And
yeah, so Same Time Next Summer takes place in Oak Shore, New York, which is this made up, the same town. I recycled a town.
oh,
It is a made up Long Island town where it is so fictional that ordinary people have homes on the beach. I like a good fantasy. So that was the setting for Same Time Next Summer. And then when they were traveling east, and I had an idea about Dan's family, and I thought, where are they? And I thought, I think these people are on Long Island. And I thought, I'm just going to go back to Oak Shore. So if, it's all the same restaurants. In Same Time Next Summer, she's dating a songwriter, and he constructs a music venue in Oak Shore. And that's the same music venue.
That's the barn?
The Oak Barn that they go to.
Oh, God.
Barn. So anyways, readers of Same Time Next Summer might recognize it. But to be honest,
now I've got to read Same Time Next Summer.
Not that many people have noticed. It's like a crossover. No one cares. No one's really noticed because it's very subtle. I mean, if you weren't really paying attention to the name of the town, you might not notice.
But you do make it so people want to go there. You make it. Yeah, these are fictional fantasy.
Yeah.
Settings.
I don't know how to get you to Oak Shore. Don't bring your realtor to Oak Shore looking for a waterfront property.
Even like Nora goes off script, that house. I wanted to live in her house or the other house where she wrote. You made that seem so magical.
Yeah.
And then
that every day. You really do.
That was very good, your setting. And so is it pretty much the deal with your publisher every May? We'd like a book.
Yeah, I'm in contract to write a book for summer 2026 and summer 2027. And, don't tell them, but I would do this for free and until I die. I mean, I really I'd love it is a lot, to be writing a book every year.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else I'd be doing. I mean, it's really what I'd love to do.
Yeah.
And then the culmination of it, in a few weeks, I'm going on book tour. And that's super fun. And then I'll start another book.
And the idea is like, okay, so it's, do you not panic a teeny bit or not really? Do you have enough ideas percolating that you're like, okay, yeah, this, like later I was going to talk to you about your next book. Like, is it not too hard to come up with that next book that's due in a year?
Not yet. You know what's happening? When I was finishing this book, I was having ideas about the book that I'm writing now, the next book.
Yeah.
And it was almost like I'm not a good multitasker. Like I'm really having children was really challenging for me. Like, why are we doing so many different things? And I was terrified by how much I was thinking about that next book while I was finishing this book. Oh. So I have to shut the door on any ideas. I don't even write them down in a notebook. I'm like, it is not time. I'm not entertaining this idea yet. And then I start when I'm done. But I have not been in a situation yet where I don't have an idea. But I don't have a bunch of ideas. I usually have one idea.
But the idea you have usually almost has legs. Like you stick with that idea. Each of these ones, you haven't discarded a lot.
Some iteration of it. I mean,
that's great.
They change a lot because a lot of my ideas are really bad. But some.
Do you run them by anybody, like your husband?
No. It's funny. The more people I talk to about my ideas, it's very subtle. Like if I told you an idea and you went, I would discard the idea. It's like too risky. So I talked to my editor and I have one writing friend. I have a lot of writing friends, but the one I run everything by is Karen Duquesne. She has Welcome to Murder Week coming out in June. It's the best book you'll read this summer. I run my ideas by the two of them and that's it.
That's smart.
So this last book, I made a PowerPoint presentation for my editor. Like, here's the book I'm thinking about writing. What do you think? And then she approved.
Okay. Wow. Great. Okay. Well, back to this book. Can you tell us about Jane's date dresses and how they worked with her and Dan? I don't remember if she did wear a few of them.
Well, so Jane she really would like to have the costume department with her at all times. So she does not rely on any of her spontaneous things, because her spontaneous things don't work out. So she has a very calculated way of doing things. Dan sees her in the fourth date dress because she wears it to work that day, but he never sees any of the dresses leading up to it. And then they go on this trip to Long Island together, and she has packed all the wrong things. She did not bring a bathing suit. She did not bring any of the right things to wear, and she's completely out of costume the entire time.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
She's just like, she has to go to the local tourist store and buy your grandmother's bathing suit to wear to the beach, which is on the cover of the book. And I think that works to her favor.
Because she's out of her comfort zone, so she
stopped straightening her hair. She doesn't have straight hair. She has curly hair. Like, let's just let all that stuff go and stop trying so hard, and the world will rise up to meet us. So, and then everything worked out.
Exactly. I have to say I got uncomfortable because things were going quite smoothly, and I was getting pretty far along in the book, and I knew there was a crisis coming. I knew it. And then the crisis came, and I had to speed read past it. It was so uncomfortable. Like, I want to get back to the love part.
Yeah. I love that it made you uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. I'm like, we need to get back to the good part. I did it both times. I'm like, oof.
Wow. Oh, God,
that Jack Quinlan, what a not a good person. You need to do a sequel where something bad happens to Jack.
Yes. He gets lice. Is there something worse than that? That was the first thing I could think of.
That's really bad. Dan, the quiet, thoughtful cinematographer, who is not exactly what Jane thought from the beginning. Did he come to you quite naturally? Was he more like a counter to her? Like, you had her, and then how did you get Dan?
I just started writing Dan, and then I was probably 2 drafts through before I understood who he is. One thing I'll tell you is that I am married to a quiet man. I really like a quiet man. That is like Leo Vance from Nora Goes Off Script, the sexiest man alive, is not my type. Like, I could never. Like, I adored him while I was writing him, but that's not for me. I really did. Like, I loved writing a man who just knows who he is and doesn't have to justify it to everybody. I find that very, very attractive. So, maybe my own household sort of snuck into there on this one.
Nice. Yeah. I like a quiet man too. Your love scenes. Do you read them aloud? What's your secret to writing them so convincingly without being in any way pornographic or corny?
Well, I'll just tell you, this is the hardest part for me. There are a lot of parts of writing that come to me really easily. This is it's getting easier just because I've been doing it more. And it takes a while. Like, I draft those scenes over and over again. And then I put them away, and then I read them again. And I'm like, sometimes somebody's got 3 arms, and I don't really understand how we're all I have to imagine them. But it's there are 2 approaches to writing a love scene. One has body parts in it, and one doesn't have body parts in it. Like, we're not naming body parts. So my approach is, we're together and there's a touch, but we're not, and you can see how they are together and how it's going, but you're not like saying all the things.
No.
And that's not like the right way to do it. It's not the wrong way to do it, but it's just the way that it comes out of me that works the best.
It's very suggestive without, you mentioned a breast. I think that was it.
I've gone wild. I've gone totally off the rails. But, the truth about like all that kind of stuff is moments before the kiss are really more exciting than the kiss.
Right. Yes.
It's the anticipation of the thing, the buildup that feels really great.
Yeah.
So that's really fun to write.
Yeah. And you've got good examples of just these sexy things, like when he's smoothing the sand between their two towels. That was just like a little thing. That was kind of at the beginning, and then they sort of, the inches between them get a little bit less. I was wondering if you had a ruler. Like they're 10 inches apart. Now they're 8 inches apart a chapter later. They were getting closer, but just not there yet.
Yes. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, you build really well. What was maybe the most difficult element?
I had a hard time getting the thing with her mother right. And, mothers and daughters, it's really complicated. It's like, and I'm here to say that for the first time. I think people know that. But she has a very close relationship with her mother. And they do and say everything to make each other happy. And they don't always say the honest thing. Towards the end of the book, there is more honesty and something kind of blows up. And it was really important to me to get that right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very difficult. I wrote that a lot of times and in a lot of different ways for, I don't know, just to like open up the hard conversation and how that would actually look.
Right. And it was very interesting, too, that the mother had such a different attitude towards love than her daughter, than Jane, in terms, she was willing to get hurt.
Her mother would jump off any cliff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is going to be great. He's the one. Let's go. But, as often happens, like if you have a parent who, spends money to their own peril, you become very frugal.
Right.
Right. Like we're often a reaction to our parents. And she, saw her mother get her heart broken and put her back together enough times to know like that kind of love is not safe. Like, absolutely not. Let me just dress up like Reese Witherspoon. I'm going to go out there and meet a perfectly nice man.
Yeah.
And it'll just be something safe.
And he's going to have, I remember when she was telling Dan, he's going to have health insurance.
It's very important. I mean,
what she was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, how hot is that? Look at that. I could add you onto my Aetna card.
Exactly. So this, as your other books, I thought this could make a great film. You've got this, that the setting is great, these handsome Finnegans, the steamy scenes, Jane in her Eleanor Roosevelt bathing suit. Do you ever, what happens? Do you ever try to, make it into a film? Yes.
Yeah. So I have booked to film agents in Los Angeles, this very cool duo of young women. And they are sending this out. Nora Goes Off Script has been optioned. And that's something that's going to happen in the next year.
Oh, fantastic. Can you tell us anything?
If it happens, it's going to happen in the next year.
Got it.
I'll give you news as it comes.
Okay. I know. Because I can help on the casting.
Oh, I am terrible at this. And, always at events, people say, who would you cast? I probably should think of somebody before I leave the house. But everybody that I can think of is so much older than Dan. Like,
oh, how old is Dan?
He's 34.
Right.
I mean, he's a baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah. Who are those people? Was that Harry Styles? I don't even know who those people are.
No, and the people I'm thinking of, whose name I can't remember, but I can see their face, they're now much older.
Yeah.
Because I saw them maybe 10 years ago, because I'm not as into, yeah, okay, fine, my children.
When Nora Goes Off Script came out, I was saying Leslie Mann, who's at the time was like 52. I mean,
I remember that actually.
But in my mind, Leslie Mann is 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I had to Google her. And I was like, oh, great choice.
Yeah,
okay, so yeah, she is. All right. So tell us about, now we can get on to what you're working on now. You can just give us the bare bones of your next script.
Okay. So I'm on the second draft of this, and I'm not going to 13 drafts on this book. Like, this one's going to come together in a reasonable, in case my editor's listening to this, I swear to God, this is not going to break your heart. So this is about a woman. She's a single mother. She's 39. about to turn 40. And she is a kindergarten teacher, part-time, works for her dad at this fish store that he owns. And she strikes up a fake dating relationship with a man who is kind of like a Vanderbilt.
Oh.
It's the whole thing's a little bit like Pretty Woman, but there are no
Oh.
hookers.
She's a kindergarten teacher.
Yes. So
Different.
she's not hired to have sex with him, but he needs a date for a PR reason.
Oh, and I take it he's somewhat handsome.
He's so handsome. He's so handsome. But, here's what's wrong with the world, and I will say this. It's much harder to sell a guy to a reader like Dan Finnegan, who probably doesn't have health insurance and is maybe like killing himself in his own apartment with the chemicals, than it is to sell a Vanderbilt. It's like, you know what I mean? Like while you're writing, the reader is like, okay, I'm in. He just bought me a steak. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so your work is easier with this man.
Never going to be easier, but maybe.
Okay.
I really like him. I like him. He's a little troubled.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, I'm looking forward to talking to you about that one next year and reading it. Last question. What are you reading now and loving?
I just finished The God of the Woods.
Oh.
I'm late to the party on that. You must read it. It's complicated and really, really good.
Is it a romance or no?
No, it's like a thriller. It's more literary.
Ooh.
I just started reading Emily Henry's new book, A Great Big Beautiful Life. And it's so funny because I'm on page 4. I know I'm going to love it. I almost don't even have to read it. Like I already love it. But the romance book that I did read that I loved this year was Abby Jimenez's new book, Say You'll Remember Me.
Ooh.
It's a romance, but there's a lot of, and she always does this. There's like a lot of heavy stuff in there that gives it is not silly. And it also deals with so much like practicalities of life, like money and distance and like taking care of people with dementia. I mean, she really like digs into life. But I love that one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode. Annabel is so modest. She just creates this world that I want to crawl into. And the problem is it's a make-believe world. I'm going to have to talk to my therapist about that. Yes. Come on, Annabel, write that next book. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.